Welcome to the A.I.P channel where anything is possible. Where we talk about a little bit of anything and everything. Tonight, I want to talk about the Zapruder film and JFK assassination. I've done a bunch of. I watched lots of documentaries and read books and all kinds of stuff on it before, and then I came across this. How I missed it all these years, I don't know, but I came across this the other day, and I said, "Well, I'm gonna do a podcast on that then, because if I didn't know it, and I'm into this kind of stuff, there's a lot of people who are not into this would never heard about it. It's it's pretty graphic. It's actually live video of somebody sitting kind of on the right there, right past where he got shot at, right there on the knoll, taking video. And the big thing that once I show the video, you'll see the big thing you'll see about this video is it shows that there was a second gunman. Now, who the second gunman was, don't know. I remember watching a documentary and years ago on it, and it was a possibility, but in my head, but it was Secret Service actually killed him accidentally. Quotation marks, quotation marks. But said the Secret Service in the car when they slipped. Of course, they had the finger on the trigger because there's open gunfire going on, and when they hit a bump or something, I don't remember exactly the exact details of it. The gun went off and knocked the top of his head off. Because that's why when you watch the video, his head goes back and then goes back forward. You you know physics tell you if the gun is behind him, you can't shoot somebody in the back of the head, and then once they hit him in the back of the head goes back. I mean, was this the first thing a scorpion? Get over here, you know. Uh, I never believed in one shooter. I did not sure who, personally, I don't know who killed him. Um, it could have been an alphabet group because he was trying to do lots of things. Um, like project. Uh, let me. I just. I know it in my head. I looked it up. I'm typed in the word. I knew what it was, but you know how it is. You want to make. I want to try to make sure I put out the most credible information as I can. Project Northwood. He stopped it from happening. Um, I'm actually. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm gonna do this. I got this right here. Let's go ahead and throw this in. And if it wants to be on YouTube and of course Spotify, it'll have the video on Spotify if you want to watch the video, whatever, and get to see what I'm talking about. Um, sure. Here you look. There we go, mouse. Here you look is unclassified. Let's see. Whoa, that didn't do not what I wanted to do. It's unclassified, and it shows the Joint Chief of Staff. Let me see if I can actually uh, read today. Had considered the attached parameter. I can't even say the word because I can barely see it. Memorandum. Memorandum. There we go. I can read. Some days being hit in the head a lot through the martial arts, and some days better than the others. I promise you. I wouldn't change it for nothing though. It's showing it actually okay. It don't show what this don't show. Of course, it's just the top page. Um, but they were going to fake fake an incident, so we would go over there and have public opinion to attack Cuba, and it's like, and makes you go things that make you go when you hear stuff like that. Like, okay, they said that in '62, they did that. The Gulf of Tonkin incident. We know now after declassified information that the Gulf of Tonkin incident never happened. It's proven fact now. So the whole reason we went into Vietnam and all that was BS. Um, which always kind of burns me a little bit, but thinking about it, but for a personal opinion, but personal reasons. This, um, but I got my shit show supervisor shirt on, so I'm ready. I'm ready to do some supervising. Um, so I mean, they've done it several times. Why won't they do it again? And like, there's a lot. Like my other video on 9/11. Um, there's a lot of people that would say, "Well, I can't. There's no way they would do this." And I'm like, they've done it before in the last 100 years. There you go. Sit down. They've done it before, so it's like, why won't they do? If they got away with it before, they'll get away with it. They'll try to do it again. Uh, you know, the kid goes into the kitchen late at night and takes a cookie out of a cookie jar. Well, they made it once. They'll then they do it again. Get another cookie. Well, that's pretty tempting to go in there again, isn't it? Keep doing it over and over again. But I think on that. These two out here made me mad last night. I had done this video last night. I just had to delete it and redo all this. Being honest, they unplugged my headset, and I guess I need to get me a Bluetooth headset because my computer can handle Bluetooth. Not today. We're not. This one works fine. I'll keep using this one as long as I can keep them away from my cord. So I'm going to show the video, put it in here so the ones that are watching YouTube and on here, you're going to hear somebody talking on and I mean, it is graphic. So I mean, it's I almost say it's unedited because they did edit the some media footage in the very beginning, but after that you'll see where it happens, and they'll say it in the video when they start. Like that. It's a pretty horrific seeing the incident happening. You've seen it over and over again. A lot of people have over the years, but it's still just, that man lost his life because he's trying to make change. He's trying to get rid of the Federal Reserve, and we're going to do a podcast soon on that. Petrodollar and Federal Reserve. We're going to talk about it the next podcast. So give you a little hint of what's going on. What in the world? should be eye opening for some. You know, because like a lot of there's still people to this day. You know, uh, before I go on a wild ADD running over here, um, quick notes on Federal Reserve. So maybe like a little teaser for you want to come back to listen to the next one. Federal Reserve. There's nothing federal about the Federal Reserve. There's no more federals. There's nothing federal about the Federal Reserve. Just like there's nothing federal about Express. Back before they called it FedEx. The original name for FedEx was Federal Express for uh, the old heads, I guess. I don't know. My generation. And before we get to see this Federal Express, and then they shortened it. I don't remember. I'd have to look that up. But there's no. I'll look it up for the next one, just for just information points. Um, it they haven't used transferred any kind of gold. A lot of people still believe that the gold is the dollar is backed by gold. It hasn't been since 1934. Think about that. 89 years. There's not been any gold backing of the dollar. I'll leave it at that. If I make you come to listen to the next one, we'll find out what the actual dollar is backed by and how does it get its value, and why you'll see so much going on in the world today because of that. But like I said, it's a little teaser for the next one. Um, yeah, I'm actually planning ahead. Imagine that. So we're going to share the video and let you see it. Uh, the murder of JFK, and we'll talk about it a little more. So here we go.
This is commercial footage leading into Dealey Plaza. This is the car on Main Street.
So this film was taken by actual newsmen. This was spliced together with the Abraham Zapruder film.
Yes.
All right, so this is the beginning of the motorcade.
Okay, what you're seeing now is in slow motion so that you can grasp what is happening. This is a film taken by Marie Muchmore that leads into the Zapruder film. It's for time continuity. The president is waving to the crowd here.
And Jacqueline Kennedy, of course, is sitting alongside him in the open car.
Right. This is from Orville Nix's film. This is originally 8mm footage. And they're heading now toward Elm Street. They're on Houston Street now. They're going to make a left-hand turn. It's on the corner where they're going to make the turn there that the book depository was. Now, this is the Zapruder film.
Okay, so the cars are coming along now into Dealey Plaza?
Yes, these are the lead motorcycles of the motorcade.
All right, now with the president and Mrs. Kennedy is also Governor Connolly.
Right. Now, before he goes behind the sign, the president is waving to the crowd. When he comes out from behind the sign, he is shot. Then Governor Connolly is shot.
He's already been hit.
He's already been hit.
And now?
And at the bottom of the screen, the headshot.
That's the shot that blew off his head. It's the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in the movies.
Now, the Warren Commission said that all of the shots were fired from behind by Lee Harvey Oswald, a lone assassin, firing at the president. And as you can see, clearly, the head is thrown violently backwards, completely consistent with the shot from the front, right. Now, this is an extreme blow-up of just the president from the film.
All right.
Coming out behind the sign, he's shot.
He's hit from
He's hit here.
From the front, too.
From the front. Now, Jackie doesn't realize what's happened yet. She goes to his aid.
And now? He's hit
Again, the violent backward motion, totally consistent with 80% of the witnesses, which said the shot came from the grassy knoll in front and to the right.
Horrendous. Like I said, you can look up that Zapruder film, JFK. Just type that in YouTube. I'll also put a link at this video. I give credit where this one I got this one video clip from. But there's several information on this. So yeah, like I said, this is pretty horrendous. Like I said, a man who wanted to make change and big change. Like I said, he had a lot of enemies though. Um, History says the mob. He had ties with the mob, and they were mad at him. A lot of the alphabet groups were mad at him. Of course, because he stopped um, Operation Northwood, among other things, trying to dissolve with the Federal Reserve so we can go back to doing our own thing and printing our own money. We before uh, Federal Reserve 1923, I think. We'll do a Joe Rogan and look it up real quick. Um, we're going to bring this tab over here because there's a cat in my way on the other side. 1913. Excuse me. 1913, a little earlier than I thought. Um, Before that, we actually printed our own money and did all that kind of stuff. Um, but the global banking system decided we had should do something different, and now we got what we got. Um, so one of them fun facts you look through history, lots of the wars throughout history was um, financed on both sides by the same banks. Just like, uh, but you can look it up. Like, say anytime I say anything over here, please check me, fact check me. I want you to fact check me. Um, Obama, Mitt Romney, they had lots of the same sponsors had donated money to them. You can look that up. Um, and it's uh, and of course, you get the Hillary and Donald election. Um, you get $20 million from Saudi donated hers. It was like always when you see these big investments, you go, well, always when you see these big investments, it makes me think, okay, if you're going to spend $5 million, $10 million, $20 million on a campaign, what are you getting back in reserve? Because it's not just I mean, uh, a charitable gift. It's an investment. What are they invested into? What is the investment? And it makes more things that make you go, and you follow the money and you'll find all kinds of crazy stuff, deep, deep rabbit hole, as they say. And farther down the rabbit hole, it's like if a rabbit hole and an anthill had a baby. And when you start digging into a lot of stuff, that's how you hit. Because, rabbit hole, you're in the underground and stuff, and it might get pretty deep. But, ant hills, If you ever watch one of them videos, if you haven't, you can watch one. There's some guys that'll take they'll melt aluminum all the way to liquid and pour down ant hills uh, and then they dig it. Once it hardens, they dig it up and see all the intricacies. And there's all kinds of little secret little compartments, and like this is over here, and this is where their food stays, and this is where their garbage goes, and but there's all kinds of tunnels and intricate on the surface that don't look like nothing. But once you start digging in, it's pretty amazing. So you hear people say rabbit hole, but um, truly it's an ant hill, and because of all the intricacies and everything that you start digging into, it's pretty you can get there pretty amazing. Let me close this. It's bright. um, yeah, it's pretty amazing video. Coming from one of the youngest presidents that got elected. At the time the youngest president, if I remember correctly, and most of them they're pretty elderly, uh, like our current. We won't get in that. I'm on here too early. I don't have enough pull to even then to stay on. I don't get pulled off right away. Let me raise a little hell first, then get kicked off. Um, so it's a crazy, scary video, but it proves the narrative that the Warren Commission was absolutely wrong, absolutely inaccurate on their thoughts. You know, they wanted to get out here and tell the American people there was a magic bullet that can shoot through his shoulder and then zigzag and come out and hit somebody else. And uh, come on, man. I mean, there's a lot of there's and then they fooled a lot of people. Um, Maybe that's why they don't want to release the information. They it keeps on coming up on time for them to release the JFK and unclassified. They unclassified Operate Northwoods and stuff. Why won't they unclassify JFK? I don't think they want to get out there and show that one of the alphabet groups actually took him out and show the true um, menacing power. And you know, I spoke to people about this before, way before I had this podcast and stuff, But if you get in the wrong neighborhood, um, even though I had a friend of mine get killed over $40, you know, $40 shot, blocked from his mama's house. About about my age, a little bit younger than me, for $40. If somebody takes somebody's life over $40, what do you think they'll do over millions and trillions? Are you having fun there? You are. I was gonna enjoy the video of you biting your tail. Um, for the ones get to see the video, they see Miss Kitty biting her tail. But back on the subject, man, what would they do? I said, people turn you in for uh, a gift card, you know, Police are giving out gift cards or something, free pizza. And how they'll parent their friend in, or their brother, or sister, or mama, or anybody. And so when you start getting in them big zeros and add them all them zeros on about, there's a lot of people will do a lot of things to keep their power. And with the dollar and the the power of the dollar, how they have it set up right now, and how potentially it could all fall apart and the dollar disappear. Absolutely. You know, it'd be it won't be worth the paper it's written on if it happens. The potential's there in my lifetime to happen. There'll be some bloodshed before it happens, some bad bloodshed, but there's potential there to happen before I'm gone. And I'm only 44, so I should have a while to go. Um, hopefully, I'm only halfway there. So you never know. Um, had a couple co-workers, they passed away this week. Former co-workers, they had retired, and um, now they're gone. But part of it, part of the cycle. Um, I ain't trying to get all sad and sounding there. Like I said, I just want to uh, maybe backtrack just a little bit. I guess I said I always want to show this video. I had never seen it. I heard about it a couple of times, and after like the second or third time of hearing about it in the last week or two, I'm like, well, I need to see this. This is a sign I need to see. And then once I seen it, I said, well, it's time I need to, once I thought about it anyway, well, if I need to see it, then others need to see it. You know, um, who knows? You know, if uh, if there had been internet and social media and stuff back in the '70s, it'd be a different world right now. Sure enough, there'd be a lot of stuff that couldn't got um, people couldn't have got over with, got away with. You know, in certain things they make it easier. It's a double edged sword. Social media and all the internet and YouTube, and there's lots of information, but there's more information. The goods about it, you can go find stuff if you dig. The bad thing is there's a lot of misinformation out there, intentional misinformation. There's some people who are just um, insane. I don't know what other word to say it. Just insane on the thought process of what they're thinking about, and how their mind works. So you know, it's just out there. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they're right. But in my mind and thought process, I'm out there, and some people think I'm out there. So, um, because I don't just go along and and like yes sir, I want another, and um, I always ask questions. Hey, what about this? What about that? No matter what it is. Why are we doing this? Why does this happen? That's how you learn, though, and people forget that. That's how you learn and understand. And um, with me teaching jujitsu, it helps. That opens my mind and helps me on a lot of this too. Because lets me know they got to. Uh, uh, I get to see a wrestling match while during the podcast. Um, because you have to show it, you have to figure it out and understand it, and um, and broke my chain of thought. Uh, you know, and people ask questions. My students, they ask me questions like, okay, how does this work? Or what happens to here? What if I, or if they do this? Or what about fight situation? Like if I'm in the cage, if you're just doing a jiu-jitsu competition, is one thing. There's a whole other rule set than in the cage where you can throw punches and kicks and knees and elbows. And so certain moves on a pure jiu-jitsu match will not work in the cage. It'll get you hurt. So you got to have that understanding of what is applicable in the situation and why. And in the applicable of the situation, you got to understand what works and what doesn't work. And so that's why you need to ask questions. And in all situations, you can. Sometimes you don't want to know the answer because it gets bad on other stuff. Because you look at, okay, look at this situation. Why would they do this? Okay, 9/11, Building 7, $2.3 trillion comes up missing 2 days later. All the evidence is destroyed. Coincidence? Perhaps. Huge multi-million-dollar insurance policy taken out on each building right before it happens. Coincidence? Perhaps. You know, like I said, if you listen to the 9/11 one, you'll hear me say there's I could talk about more, and there's lots more I want to talk about on that story. I tend to get back to it. I will, because we didn't touch base on just the plane going down. We really didn't touch base about much about the Pentagon, NORAD, any of that. We truly just talked about Building 6, Building 7, Twin Towers. So there's a whole another part of 9/11 that I didn't even go over yet, to even talk about, and we'll get there. Uh, it's crazy world we live in. It truly is. Um, just kind of finish up there. Like I said, I wanted y'all to see this video. It's pretty crazy that we've had it since '75, and there was still people, just using the Warren Commission to. Well, they said, yeah, they said all right. They said uh, the ship was we were attacked in the uh, Tompkin Bay too, but that didn't happen either. Um, Numerous stuff, but again, thank you for listening. If you're all the way to this end, you put up with my cats fighting and my ramblings. I appreciate you listening. I really do. I'm trying. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to figure out new ways of doing this. Um, Spend a few dollars when I can about extra newer equipment and software and teaching myself how to video edit as I go. I'm just learning as I go, and I do that's pretty much how I do my best anyway. It's how I learn how to build computers, trial and error. I put them together and blew them up and bought another motherboard and some more stuff, and put another one together and learn from my lessons. Um, I'm very hands on. I learned to do about it. I've learned how to do about everything. Not everything, but I've learned how to do a lot of things. That, um, pretty lucky. But it's just because I attempted it. I tried, you know. And you know, I always remember there's nothing wrong with a failed try because at least you tried. If you don't even get off your butt and try, it's a guaranteed failure. Absolute. So try to get out there and try to do what you can. Um, like I said, I'm wrapping this up now. Like and share. Tell your friends. Got any conspiracy, critical thinking, open minded, random people want to hear me talk? Send them my way, and like I said, thank you again. Um, I really appreciate it. Uh, and as always, keep on keeping on. And if you need help, oh, I forget the number. Text 988. I got my little suicide prevention wristband, a little reminder. I look down at it. Makes me think of one friends I lost. If you need help, ask for help. If you know me personally, if you need help, ask me. I did that one. Uh, I popped the one out that time. Um, so I'm gonna have a little blank there. Not too bad. I'll edit that out. Um, but yeah, text the 988. You know, if you're my friends, need help, just holler at me. You know, I'll be here, do what I can. I'm limited to what I can do, but I'll do the best I can to help you as I can. You know, um, if not, like I said, you can text at 988 if you're feeling down and don't want to be here no more. Ask for help from somebody. It's okay. We all need help sometimes. And and I know on that note, just keep on keeping on, and peace and chicken grease. Yeah, have a good one.